When a relationship ends, most people think that the hardest part is the heartbreak. The missing, the grief, the loss of the other person. But for many people, the hardest part comes later. It's the moment that you realize you don't just miss them, you miss who you were when you were with them. The version of you that adapted, the role that you played, and the rhythm of your life that followed. And when that relationship is gone, you're left with a quieter and harder question. Who am I? If you're rebuilding after a relationship, you feel disoriented, ungrounded, or unsure of yourself. Nothing has gone wrong. You're just healing from heartbreak and rebuilding your identity. Welcome to the Inner Launch, where we talk about rebuilding your self-trust, reclaiming your identity, and creating your next chapter from the inside out. I'm your host, Christina Volkovich, and in this episode, we are talking about rebuilding your life without starting from scratch. Today, we are getting more specific, not just emotionally, but intentionally. Because relationships don't only shape our hearts, they shape our sense of self. Relationships are one of the primary sources where your identity forms. Over time, you learn how to be with another person. What is welcomed, what is tolerated, and what causes tension. You adapt, sometimes subtly, and sometimes dramatically. You may soften parts of yourself, or you may become more responsible, more cautious, more quiet, or more accommodating. And that is not a flaw. That is a human maintaining connection. And when relationships end, those adaptations do not disappear overnight. They remain even when the context that required them is gone. Many people expect heartbreak to feel sad, but what they don't expect is how disorienting it can really be. You might feel unsure of your presence. You may second guess your instincts. You may feel emotionally raw even when the relationship was not healthy. But this confusion does not mean that you made the wrong choice. It means that your nervous system is recalibrating. When a relationship ends, your nervous system loses familiar structure. And structure, even when it's imperfect, can feel like safety. One of the most important distinctions to make during this stage is this. Are you missing the person, or are you missing the person that you became around them? Because many people confuse the two. They think that they want the relationship back, but what they really want is relief from the discomfort of rebuilding. Being alone after a relationship often brings you face to face with you again. And that can feel really uncomfortable if you spent a long time orienting yourself around someone else. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you are relearning how to belong to yourself again. In many relationships, especially the ones that last a very long time, self-trust erodes slowly. You may have ignored small signals, or red flags as they call them, talked yourself out of intuition, learned to compromise on ways that cost you your clarity. And over time, that teaches your system a subtle lesson. My inner voice is negotiable. So when the relationship ends, you're not just grieving the loss, you are also rebuilding a relationship with yourself. That work takes time and patience. So I want to tell you how this looked for me. Because as most people, I thought it was going to be easy leaving my ex. And really, it wasn't. I was so used to being around him. I was so used to being, the good wife, the one who cooked, the one who cleaned, all of the things. I had a role with that I became accustomed to. I had a role in my job that I had become accustomed to. And when I lost one, it really made me feel uneasy. It really made me feel like, who am I? What am I doing? Am I making the right choice? And I still loved my ex at the time when I left him because I needed to leave him. But it also caused me to question everything because I liked being married. I liked having somebody to always talk to. I liked being able to say, I'm a wife, I have a house, I have this, I have that. And now all of that was in question. And it really wasn't easy. It made me question, was I doing the right thing? And I would like to say that leaving him was so easy and I left him and I never went back. Unfortunately, I did. And what I learned from going back is that I made the right choice leaving him in the first place. But it was hard. I missed talking to my best friend. I missed being able to hold somebody at night. I missed being able to say that I had a partner in crime, or being able to say that I had somebody that I was doing life with. I missed having a teammate that I thought we had the same goals. I missed all of that. And it wasn't easy to navigate because I felt a loss. Not just loss for the person that I was or loss of the relationship, but loss of everything. I even questioned if all of what I knew was real because on top of that, my ex had also cheated. So I questioned so many things about, is this right? Am I doing the right thing? I really miss them. Should I go back to them? Was it really that bad? I questioned all of it. And I grieved all of it. And it was not easy. And I had to do no contact because that was the only way I was getting through it. And in the beginning, when I tried otherwise, when I tried to be friends, what I found was I would start healing and then I would go back to him and it would undo all of the healing that I did. It would undo that progress. It was not easy having to stand on my own when I hadn't done it in about 6 years. I had no idea who I was, or what I was doing, or what my next step was. But I had to sit in that discomfort in order to get the life that I truly wanted. I learned that I was not just healing from heartbreak. I was learning how to belong to myself again. Being alone after a relationship can feel confrontational. Without another person to orient you, your inner world gets louder. Thoughts surface, feelings return. That is why so many people rush into distractions or new relationships. Not because they're unhealthy, but because stillness feels unfamiliar. But that stage is so important. It is where the clarity of yourself begins to return. It is where your presence reemerges. It is where your self-trust starts to rebuild. That quiet in between is needed. Rebuilding after a relationship is not about becoming hardened or closed off. It's about becoming rooted. It's about noticing what feels true to you again. It looks like honoring your needs without expectations. It looks like learning to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. This is not isolation. This is integration. You are not learning how to be alone forever. You are learning how to be with yourself fully. If you're rebuilding from a relationship, you're not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience, from awareness, and growth. The end of a relationship does not erase who you are. It reveals what no longer fits. And from that place, something steadier can be built. Not forced, not rushed, but aligned. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what happens when survival mode loosens and you are left to lead yourself. Because rebuilding after a relationship often moves you out of survival mode and into a new, unfamiliar phase of self-leadership. This is your reminder that you don't need to have it all figured out. Change does not come from rushing forward. It comes from paying attention and choosing yourself, even in the small ways. If this resonated with you today, I invite you to subscribe, send this to a friend who may need to hear it, and see how we can work together in the show notes. This has been another episode of The Inner Lunch. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!